Доброе утро. Так. Alright. Сегодня вот домашнее задание. I had you work on. Вот это было на какой странице? What page was that on? One. Niko, дорогой, what page was that on?
205.
205. Да. Okay. Oh yes. When do you? Okay. So, когда? Во сколько? At what time? Make sure one time. Right? Во сколько? Okay. At what time does something occur? Okay. And again, the way that we do time is just like we did with our other numbers. Okay. So 9 through 12. Now, official Russian time is a 24-hour calendar, or a 24-hour clock, okay? So trains, movies, theater, stuff like that, okay? Finland work on the same principle usually, yeah.
I think
most European countries do, okay? We don't do that in the United States except for military, we call it military time, okay? But again, 1,300 hours, okay? What time is that, Niko? Oh my goodness. 1,300 hours. 13 o'clock. What time is 13 o'clock? 1. There. See, there you go. Just subtract
1
12.
p.m.
Yeah, 1 p.m. Yes, 1 p.m. That's why we don't have any confusion about p.m. or a.m. Okay? Alright. But we're not going to do that necessarily. People don't do that in regular conversation. Okay? They don't say, I'll see you at 1,600 hours. Unless you're in some sort of maybe official capacity, military, police, things like that. But between just people, it's like, I'll see you at 6 in the evening. Okay?
But when they write down.
Again, even if they write it down at 6, they might write down 1,800 just to be clear about that. Okay? But again, we're just going to deal with the 12-hour clock. Okay? So, va skолько, at what time? Okay? At what time, if you want to ask what time it is, okay, there are a couple of different ways you can ask that. You can say, сколько времени, or который час. These both mean, what time is it? And this means, at what time. So when something is. It starts, ends, begins, whatever. Okay, at what time? Okay. So those two questions. The answer is going to be very similar. Okay? The only thing that's going to be different is the first one, at what time, you're going to have that preposition v in there. Okay? So we have который час, or сколько времени, what time is it? Который час сейчас, what time is it? Или во сколько, at what time. So if we look up there at the clock, okay? Который час сейчас. The way that you do this is, just like you do in any other culture almost, you say the hours and then the minutes. Okay? In conversation, okay, you can just say number of hours and then number of minutes. Okay? Just like we do in English. What time is it right now, Niko?
9:15.
9:15, okay? Why did we say 9 hours, 15 minutes? Why did we say that?
Why?
Yeah. Well, it's not we're lazy, we're efficient. Why waste our breath? It's 9:15, right?
Yeah.
Okay? You can do the same thing in Russian. Сейчас 9:15, 9:15. Okay? But for this class, we're always going to put the hours and the minutes afterwards, okay? Because I want you guys to learn the forms from, again, the genitive singular, or the nominative singular, or genitive singular, and genitive plural, like we went over the other day, right? That, okay? Хорошо. So, который час сейчас? What time is it right now? So, Niko, if we start with 9 hours, how do we say that? 9 что? 9. Did you write these down the other day? No. Yeah, I hope you did. Hours, minutes, seconds, all that stuff. 9. What form of the hour comes after 5 through 20? And since we're doing 5 through 12 here, that's what we have to worry about. So we've got 1, 2 through 4, and then for time, 5 through 12. This is just conversational. Как сказать, 9 hours. Or you were about the wrong notebook?
I didn't have this one. I didn't.
Oh, okay. Mikko. 9. Or you can, are you still thinking? Yeah, he's going to. Да. Mikko, как сказать 9?
Часов.
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 9 часов. 9 hours. И сколько минут? Okay, so now, remember, with minutes, all of these still apply. Okay, so we're just going to put so 5, and then we're going to go to 20. And then 21 is up here, 22 through 24, and then 25 through 30 follow the same pattern. Okay, so if we have 9 часов, and this clock now has, what is that, 18 minutes. How do you say 18, Nikolai? Как сказать 18? 18 minutes. Well, I don't know if it's in your book right off the bat. Okay? Maybe it is. It should be in your notebook.
It's here, but
Is it in the book? Да?
yeah.
Где? Вон там,
204.
204. Да, there's, okay, so there's час, часа, okay? Minutes. Вон там. On part A, okay? 30, что? On page 204. Now that's hours. We're now in minutes. 30, but 18 is going to be the same form because it's genitive plural. 30,
You said in part A.
part A on page 204, right at the bottom there, where it says it's 8:30, 8 часов, 30, что? Look right. There. Sorry. 30. Что? 30. So it's 18, and by the time now you've looked it up, it's now 20, so it's not at 18 anymore. What is it now? What's 20? Ага. 20. Что? 20 what? No, it's not. 20 minut, дорогой. 20 minutes. Where is that word? It's right in bold. You see it now? Okay, you got it? Don't look at часов. We already did часов over here. Okay? So, we have 1 час, 2, 3, 4 часа, часов. Over here. 1 минута. Right? 2, 3, 4. No, let's do it. These are going to be the same, okay? Same form. Minuti, da. And then what's the genitive plural? Nikolai? Minut. Minut. Okay? Alright? So, час, часа, часов. Minuta, minuti, minut. Час, часа, часов. Minuta, minuti, minut.
Minuta, minuti, minut.
Minut, хорошо. Okay? So, 9 часов, 20 минут. Alright? And in regular just conversation, you'd say, ну, сейчас 9:20, 9:20. Okay? There is a much more complicated way of doing time. Right? Where in the first half of the hour, it's 20 minutes of the 10th hour. You can learn that. It's way too complicated. And when I used to do that to Russians on the street, they'd look at me like I had 3 heads. And I said, where did you learn how to do that? I'm like, well, I learned that in my book. They said, yeah, nobody tells time like that. Yes, it's like very official and very, grammatically complicated and proper, but it's You say, yeah, it's 9:13, okay? Or it's 9:22. But we are gonna do, I want you to put the hours and the minutes afterwards, okay? So, that, вот сейчас 9 часов 20 минут. It is now 9:20. If something happens at 9:20, all we do is add our preposition v. So for our intents and purposes, this can be, for time expressions, at. В 9 часов 20 минут. At 9:20, Joe walked in. He didn't, sorry. Okay? Got it? So, when you add the v, it means at. If you take it out of there, it means that is the actual time. Okay? Alright, so going back to, before I go on, do you have questions? Mikko. See, this is why you can't just be by yourselves in this class, okay? Mikko.
No, not really.
Okay, let's go over the homework that I asked you to do on page 205, okay? Alright, so we have 3 new verbs. Can I erase this? Można. That? Okay. Nikolai, did you write it down? You did? Okay. Are you going to keep that notebook forever and ever now?
This is my Russian notebook.
This is your Russian, now it's your official Russian notebook?
It's the same one. I didn't know.
Oh, well, why did you, where is everything that you wrote? Did you write it in disappearing ink?
No, I didn't know where my Russian notebook was.
Okay, so now you have an official one? Okay. How long before you lose that one?
I won't lose my notebook. It's almost there in my notebook.
Alright, so we have завтракать, обедать, and ужинать. Okay? Now, a couple of comments on these meals, okay? So we have завтрак, breakfast. Okay? What word does that come from? Завтра. What does завтра to mean? What does завтра mean? It means tomorrow. Okay? So завтрак, it's the meal you will eat tomorrow. What do we call it in English? What's your morning meal called?
Breakfast.
Breakfast. Where does that come from? What do? Breakfast. You break the fast. That's your, again, you fast when you're sleeping. What's breakfast in Finnish?
It's like, I think it's like morning.
Well, what is the word?
Aamupala.
Mupala? Amupala?
Yeah, and aamu means morning.
So is it morning meal? Pala means
It's like morning meal.
morning eating?
Snack, like pala doesn't mean like meal, but like something like that.
Okay. There you go. Okay? So again, here, завтрак comes from the word, again, tomorrow. Завтрак, and then we have завтракать, to breakfast. Okay? So that's the verb, завтракать. And it's just a straight up идет stem verb. Я завтракаю. Ты завтракаешь. Он завтракает. Мы, James isn't here, but мы, what? Nikolai, мы завтракаем. Вы завтракаете, and они завтракают. And all of the verbs to eat meals are the same conjugation. So we have завтракать, and we have обед, which is lunch, and обедать, okay, to eat lunch, and then ужин and ужинать. Okay? What's the biggest meal of the day for, well, it's hard to actually say, but what do Russians eat for breakfast? Traditionally.
I don't know, but I think breakfast is not that big. They don't eat eggs and pancakes like here.
Well, they won't eat they wouldn't eat the same kind of thing. But breakfast actually, depending on breakfast tends to be fairly simple, but eggs are a very common thing to eat. Okay. So is kasha. What's kasha? It's like oatmeal, okay? But it's usually like a buckwheat hot cereal, okay?
Yeah.
So-
we studied in Finland too.
Yeah, so what's it called?
It's puro, but it's
Puro.
like, it's like oatmeal, but like, you have to cook that oatmeal, like, it's not oatmeal, it's like, I don't know how to explain.
Kasha.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing.
Yes. Basically like oatmeal, okay? It's a hot cereal, okay? Is it hot that you eat?
Yeah, it's hot, like, it's like, yeah, I say hot cereal.
Yeah,
but,
so
like,
it's
it doesn't
hot
make sense
cereal,
that much.
okay? So kasha is a very common thing that you might eat for breakfast. However, you might also have things like, what did you say? You will find people who have things like fish, dried fish and things like that for breakfast as well. Well, that's not that strange, is it? You ever had lox with bagels, like salmon in your bagels? No? You don't eat breakfast. All right, rule number 1, eat breakfast, okay? Завтракай, дорогой. What's the most important meal of the day? Breakfast. Yes, okay? How do you get through what time do you wake up? Во сколько? Во сколько ты встаешь? Да, по-русски. Во сколько ты обычно встаешь? What time do you usually get up? Да, скажи мне, пожалуйста. В 6? А я тоже. А я завтракаю в 6:15. I'm eating breakfast at 6:15. Да. Потому что без завтрака,
I'll get nauseous if I eat in the morning.
if I don't eat, I get nauseous. Да. Хорошо. Well, но ты завтракаешь, да? You eat breakfast, да?
Да.
Наш хоккеист, okay, our hockey player, да? А наш вот Николайчик не завтракает. You don't eat breakfast. Okay, fine. No, kasha, very typical something for breakfast. The big meal of the day for Russians is lunch. Okay, обед. Yes. Okay, обед is the traditionally the main meal of the day. Kids would even go home from school and eat lunch back in the day. Okay? Again, they have lunches at school now as well. But again, обед. Okay. And again, lunch, very important, okay? And then ужин, okay? Most European cultures eat dinner much later than Americans, okay? What time? Во сколько ты обычно ужинаешь? Во сколько ты обычно ужинаешь? What time do you usually eat dinner? Во сколько, Николай? В 7 часов, да? А ты во сколько?
6.
В 6, да, в 6 часов. В 6, в 7, обычно, да, that's usually when Americans eat, okay? Но в Европе, в Испании, in Spain, в 10, at 10 o'clock. Вот это типично, that's typical, okay? Yeah, очень поздно. Usually they eat very late. Their day is structured very differently, okay? Но завтракать, обедать, ужинать. Question? No? Okay. So, во сколько ты обычно, so во сколько, at what time? Во сколько ты, and again, I can put this particular adverb here, обычно, usually. Обычно, and since you don't eat breakfast, we'll do lunch. So, let's how we conjugate обедать. Mikko. Ты, and then обедать.
Yes.
Обедаешь, да, обедаешь. Во сколько ты обычно обедаешь? At what time do you normally eat lunch? Nikolai, full sentence. I usually eat lunch at X time. Во сколько ты обычно ужинаешь? Or sorry, обедаешь. Я обычно обед with я обеда. What's the я form? Обедаю, да, хорошо. Обедаю. Обычно, usually. Just give me a time. It's not every Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. What's comes after 11? What's the form of the hour? Часов. This is часов. Straight up, 11, да? Вот. Потому что ты не завтракаешь, because you don't eat breakfast. Ты обычно обедаешь в 11 часов. So you eat a little early. Потому что ты не завтракаешь, да? Хорошо. Мико, во сколько ты обычно обедаешь?
Я what is it?
Обычно.
Обычно.
Usually. Обычно.
Я обычно
Обедаю. Обедаю.
Обедаю в 12 часов.
Часов.
Why it goes like that? Like hours. Like what's the difference? Like two from 2 to 4. Like why it changes in that point? Like between 4 and 5. Like I understand. Like in 1 is 1.
So 1 is 1.
And then
2 is 2,
like
3 is
many.
3, 4 is 4.
Like here, like 1 hour, but 2 hours. But why it changed like that?
Yeah, okay, so in English, okay, we have singular and plural, okay? 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours, okay?
Yeah, like 1,000 hours.
Russian has just the plural. There's hour and hours, right? Okay, so we have the word chas, okay, is an hour. What's hours? What's the plural of chas? Chasi. Chasi. It's regular plural, okay? And also, what does chasi mean? You watch your clock, yeah. Was that obvious enough? That. Okay, so it's watch our clock, okay? That's hours. But Russian functions differently when you put numerals in front of nouns, okay? So this goes out the window because then, now obviously the singular is still the same, like in chas, okay? But 2, 3, and 4 are numbers, and again, we talked about 2. Russian used to have this old dual system, okay? So there were different things, and things that came in twos, like eyes, ears, okay? Other, sort of things that normally came in pairs, okay? Use this 2 as a form that was separate from the 1 and the 3 and the 4 and so on and so forth, okay? I actually couldn't tell you the history why this has done this, okay? But what we have here is we get, again, chasa, and we get the genitive singular form. This is going to be the nominative singular. It's just a way of designating, again, that noun after a particular numeral. And then 5 through 20, we get chasov, that's the genitive plural. Now, this is the rule. Are there people in Russia who do not follow those rules?
When they speak, like
Yeah. Are there people who...
what they said like lots and so on.
Yeah, or piat chasa. Are there people who do that? Probably. Okay? Again, the rules, again, aren't... Again, if you think of... Are there people in Finland who don't speak Finnish correctly? And I put it like this because, I mean...
So they get it.
Well, I would say ghetto people, okay? But again, there are standard forms, and there are non-standard forms, okay? Do you ever use a non-standard form for anything in English? Like what? Give me an example. Ain't. I love the word ain't. Growing up, we used to say ain't a word, so I ain't going to use it. I use the word ain't all the time, okay? You've heard that one before? Instead of isn't?
Yeah.
Okay?
And like sometimes like when I studied English, because it has to be like he doesn't do something.
He
But
don't.
sometimes when I like 2 years ago, my friend said he don't.
He don't.
And I was like, oh.
And again, that is a non-standard form, but I want you guys to understand, most linguists would say that it's not a wrong form, okay? Do you understand what that person means when they say, well, he don't do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay? Well, if it conveys the same thing, what's the problem? Okay? I don't think there is a problem, okay?
So technically, don't have to use.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Aha, yeah, nice try, okay? But again, with this stuff, it's very important that you remember, okay? Okay, I'm going to teach you the correct way, okay?
So.
Because you're always taught, most likely you're taught the correct way. But then when you get out into, people start using different forms, non-standard things, okay? Like I like to say, I might could do that for you. Because down south where I lived for a long time, that's what people used to say. So, I might be able to do that for you, or I could do that for you. Say, I might could do that for you. I just like the way that sounds myself, so I say it all the time. Question?
That's only the time. That's not like with every.
It's with every noun that comes after a number.
So if I say 5 sweaters.
5 sweaters. Okay. So, let's just look at this one right here since we're on. So, what gender is Jas? What gender is it?
Masculine.
Masculine. Sweater is a sviter. Okay? I wonder if I'm still on camera. Hold on. Good. Okay. Sviter. So, один sviter. What's 2, 3, and 4 sweaters? Look over here. Svitera. Svitera. 5 sweaters. Pjat.
Not sviter. No, sviter. I know what I mean.
Svitera. Pjat svitera. Yes. Every noun that follows a numeral has to go in the correct form. So if it's one that ends in a 1 other than 11, it's nominative singular. It could be 6,351 things, it's still nominative singular. So 6,351 sviter. Okay? If it's 352 sweaters, it goes to svitera. If it's 350, it's sviterov. Okay?
And everything that ends in 0 would be.
Is genitive plural. Yes. Again, you look at the last numeral here, okay? So if it's 1, it still follows this one. If it's 2, 3, or 4, it follows here. If it's 5 through 0, once you get up here, it's genitive plural. If we're on the 12s, then it follows this rule, okay? So 6,312 sviterov.
What if it's just 0?
What is it? None? No sweaters? No sweaters? Нет свитеров. There are no sweaters. If you are completely negating the existence of that thing you're talking about, you use the genitive singular or the genitive plural. You use the genitive singular, and I'll talk about this since it's you two guys today and we're, just kind of rolling with it, okay? We have 2 kinds of nouns that we can talk about. We have count nouns and we have collective nouns. Okay? What's the difference? Did we talk about this last semester?
No.
Huh?
I don't think so.
I don't think we did either. I get my years all mixed up now. I've been doing this so long. Okay? A count noun. It's something you can count. Tell me something you can count. Nikolai. Money. Actually, money, the word money is a collective. But what can you count?
$.
Okay, dollars. Give me another count now. Mikko.
Stool.
Okay, chair, stool, okay? It was nice he did it in Russian. Stool. Give me another collective noun. You can't count it.
That you
You can't count this.
water.
Water. Give me 5. What would you say? Give me 5 waters, but what does that mean? 5 bottles or cups or glasses. You'd have to do it that way, okay? So water, what else? Air. Time. Right? a lot of time. It's collective. We count units of time. We count units of money, right? $5, okay? Yes, my son on his Christmas list, he put down, he wanted 2,500 monies. He didn't get that, by the way. All right?
You couldn't give him 2,500 penny.
I didn't give 2,500 anything, no. Okay, except maybe he got about 2,500 Legos, probably. That's how many he got. Okay, but again, money, water, air, time, love, right? Those are collective. Count is dollars, bottles of water, cups of water. Okay. So if it is a count noun, okay, and you want to say there are none of these things, you want to negate their existence. There are no, let's say there are no, well, in class today, there are no women in class today, right? It's just the 3 men, okay? So, we can count them individually, right? If it's a count noun and you negate it, it goes to the genitive plural, okay? So if we come over here, so we have женщина. Женщина. Okay? We could call them девушка too, but we'll call them женщина. Okay? Although in everyday situations, you're going to hear девушка, almost regardless of a woman's age. Okay? Girl, maybe a little condescending. Okay? But you never say женщина, and that's even more condescending in a way. Okay? What gender is женщина? Feminine, right? What other noun do we have already in our time expressions that's feminine? No. Часа is the genitive singular of час, which is masculine. So we have hours, but what about minutes? What's the word for minute? Minuta is feminine. So, what is the genitive plural? What's the genitive plural of minuta?
Minuta?
No, Go back to stuff you were supposed to write down. Did you write it down today on the numbers? Me. Did you write it down in your special notebook that you're just so proud of? No, you didn't, of course.
Hey, can we go over like gross and money? Like what is like?
Let's get this first.
No, I just want to hear what it's like called.
What?
What is gross and money called? Like
A ruble.
a ruble. How about pennies? If they have like
They don't even use that. They don't even really use that anymore. I mean,
they have some like they have just dollars like.
they have kopeki. They used to have like kopeki, kopecks, okay, but they're worthless now. Like they don't use really coins anymore. Okay, it's almost all exclusively paper money. Yeah, but they used to have kopeki, and they probably still calculate it that way. I'm trying to even remember when I was there a few years ago. I did everything almost on a credit card then, so I don't even remember. But anyways, let's get back to, yeah, we'll get, so, minuta, minuti, genitive singular, and the genitive plural is minut. So how do you form, for nouns that end in a, how do you form the genitive plural? Nikolai, что делать? What do you do? Okay, yeah, but what do you do? Minuta, minuti, minut. What happens? You drop the a. Okay? We'll go over genitive plural more extensively later, but since we're on it right now. So, женщина. Okay? So we have there are no girls, no women in class today. So, нет, there are no, so нет. Женщин. Сегодня. There are no girls today. Okay? So when their absence is negated, that is the genitive case. If it's a count noun, it's genitive plural. Okay? If it's a collective noun, that always has to be in the genitive singular. okay? Hold on. So if it's water, I don't, let's say let me just finish this and then I won't have any. Hold on. Hold on. I don't have any water. Okay, the word for water is vada. So how do you say I don't have any water now? У меня нет?
Нет. Вода. No, it's, what is plural? Just нет воды.
Oh, sorry. Genitive. Singular. Воды. Нет воды. I don't have any. The genitive singular over there. Минуты. У меня нет воды. I don't have any water. Right? У меня нет воды. I don't have any water. Сегодня нет женщин. There are no women here today. Только мужчины. Да? Your question, going back.
For women,
Women, yes.
why is there an A?
Where? Женщина? Because that's a woman. One woman. Женщина. And by the way, what's the word for man? Is мужчина. Ends in a, it's going to function the same way. So, looking around the room, yeah, there's probably no men in here either. We're just boys, all right?
You're a boy.
My wife called me a child last night, so we're just going to go with that, all right? So, there are no men in this class. Нет. What? Сегодня нет. There's no men either. Nikolai. Нет. Мужчин. Again, drop because we can count them individually. Да? Нет женщин, нет мужчин.
For women, why would there be an A?
What do you mean? Why would there be an A?
If you're supposed to drop it.
Well, I'm saying that's the nominative singular. Woman, man. There are no women. Женщин. There are no men. Нет мужчин. There's no men in here either. Right? According to others. Okay. Alright. So, collective nouns versus count nouns. And again, units of time are count nouns. Time itself, время, is collective. Okay? So if I don't have any time, okay, the word время, time. What gender is время?
Feminine.
Ha, trick question. It's actually a weird neuter. This is a neuter. Yeah. There's a group of them that end in yas, okay? And it's actually many of them that end in m and ya, okay? Right? Время, the genitive of this, so I don't have any time. У меня нет времени. У меня нет времени. I don't have any time. У меня нет денег. I don't have any money. Right? У меня нет времени. У меня нет денег. У меня нет друзей. I have no time, no money, no friends. Okay? Yes, pitiful. Да. Очень жалко. Да? Okay. So what? What's your question or comment?
Can we go back to money?
Can we go back to what? Money. You want to go back to money? Okay. What do you need to go back to money for? You're obsessed with money, I noticed,
I
right?
feel like if you're learning questions,
Yes, you
that's
need
a
one
big
time.
part of it.
Okay, so, money. Right. What do you want to know about it? You say you want to go back to money. What time is it right now? Сколько сейчас времени? Ты. Сколько сейчас времени?
9.
Да. Oh yeah, it is 9. Sorry, it's not.
9
9 часов.
No.
And we've got, let's say it's 51 minutes.
What is 51?
50? Well, what's 50? 50.
50 минут.
51 минута. Feminine. 51 минута. Да? So 9 часов 51 минута.
You don't put minuta at the end. It was the minuta.
Yes, because as feminine. And there's actually 4 forms of one. There's adin, which is masculine, adna, which is feminine, adno, which is neuter, and then there's adni. What the heck does adni
So
mean?
when you say like,
Some.
so if you say 9:51, minute is 5.
Yeah. Okay? 9:51. You can just say that. But we're going to throw our little units in there too, so we learn that. Because you can drop it with that one, but you can't drop it with other things. Okay? All right. So, сейчас 9 часов 51 минута. Okay? The complicated way, how you could say that? Well, let's say it's now 9:52. Okay? The old complicated way, I'd say без 8 10. Minus 8 of 10. Yeah, forget it. Yeah, I know. Guess what? You can't really do it any other way in French. In Russian, we can do it simple. Yeah? Just like in English. Finish? Is that what you do? You just do hours and then minutes? Yeah?
Actually, in Finland, we say like at minus 8.
Oh my god,
Like,
so you guys
we
have
don't
to-
say like 9:50.
Do you
like,
say
you can
it's
say-
8 until
You can
10?
say, but usually people say like it's like 10 before.
10 before, yes.
10 before 10.
That's the kind of thing that, again, the complicated way in Russian is minus 8 of 10.
Yeah.
But then you have to learn the genitive of the numbers. Yeah. Which we don't even get to now because we're barely learning the genitive of other things at this
Yeah,
point.
usually like
So
over,
без 8
over or before. Like it's like
Yeah,
10,
past
10
or, yeah.
25,
Yeah.
then it's like 25 over.
Hola. We're taking a break, so I can't ask
Oh,
questions.
отлично.
We're taking a break right now.
Yeah?
In the class.
You have just missed so much funski today. Oh! Сколько женщин сегодня? How many females now? Сколько? Одна женщина.
No,
I'm
it's
yet
like, it's
machine.
like 10 minutes, so
There's
it's not
still,
going to be long.
there's still no men in here, but well, slava Bogu, I'm counting myself in that as well, you realize. Okay?
So,
Sit.
nothing has been
Sit.
posted,
Sit.
so I didn't know how to really do the homework.
I know, okay? Snow messed everything up. I am still having trouble getting these things up online.
Like, I don't even have,
It says they're too big, so I'm gonna have to like break them up and edit them and everything. I don't know why it says they're too big. People
Even
put up like,
YouTube?
yeah, it says.
I watched hour-long videos.
I know. There's got to be something I'm doing that says too big for you.
Because it's an iPad. I'm just kidding.
I don't, maybe, but it wouldn't even let me do it on my other one.
Because I've posted stuff, my kids have posted stuff, like
I
I'm
know.
dancing, and it's usually like
It's
45
like-
minutes
Let's
long.
have an hour-long video. I don't understand.
Well, what about emailing us at least? Not that. Like, for instance, the notes that they had
Yes.
last Friday
Yes.
that I didn't have to be able to
Yes.
do the homework.
Yes.
That's what I try to do homework.
This week,
Just chop one in half.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have to just cut them up into little pieces. Okay.
Right.
And I'm gonna work on that today. And as
Okay.
soon as they're up, okay.
You send an email.
Yes.
But what about
So-
the notes part? Like he.
I
couldn't
Yeah.
follow. What's his name? Milton's.
Everything-
Copy for me.
Everything
Appreciate
is. I'm putting everything up on the board too.
Okay.
So everything. Once you see this stuff, hopefully you'll be able to actually.
Because I feel so. I opened the book and I looked at it and I was like, yeah, I don't even know
Yeah,
how to try to
okay.
do this.
Okay.
So,
Talk.
when you put them up, you're just gonna share them on YouTube and then put the links on Blackboard?
There's a way actually through Blackboard I can record it directly to YouTube,
Mhm.
but getting that on my iPad is a little more challenging, or on my other little dealy bob. The other one is a piece of junk. The microphone, you can't even hear what I'm saying. So I'm working on it, and I know it's frustrating for you and for me, but this is how it's
Oh, and
going right.
Dr. Strobel said thank you for allowing us to do this.
Oh, okay.
She allowed me. She's like, I'll take 10 minutes now because I said I have questions
Thank you.
and I'm
Okay.
so frustrated.
All right, so again, going back to what we've worked on today, let's just review because then we'll quit, okay? All right, so we talked about time expressions. What time do you do things, okay? Is that what your question was? Like, okay, so we have to, is it even up here? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna erase this because I will just, that's a little bit too much for now, okay? Let me keep this up. Yeah, okay, so I'll just keep it all up, just ignore this side. Okay, so, во сколько, at what time, okay? at what time do you do something, versus который час, what time is it, okay? When you have this preposition, v or vo, okay, that means at what time does something happen. So, scooch over and look at one of their books, or even, just look at one, okay? So, 205, okay? So, if you look at 205, во сколько ты завтракаешь, okay? So, the verb to have breakfast, okay? Во сколько. If, Yulia, you want to say, I eat breakfast at a particular time, and I'm going to now erase this so I have a little bit more room, okay? All right, so if you want to say, I eat breakfast at X time, okay? So, yeah, how do you say to eat breakfast? Nikolai, I eat breakfast, yeah? Завтракаю. Я завтракаю. I eat breakfast. Okay, Yulia. Now you will put the, which for our intents and purposes means at. And then you put the time after it, okay? So, во сколько ты обычно, usually, завтракаешь? Ты. What time?
I usually breakfast.
Да, во сколько. Put the number, then the hours, and then the number and the minutes. Okay? В. Okay, по-русски. В 6.
По-русски.
And over here we have hour for 1, hour for 2 through 4, and hours for 5 through 20. So в 6 часов. At 6 o'clock. Да? Хорошо.
You don't say 6 a.m. You don't have a.m.
You can, so you can, okay? Okay, so в 6 часов утра of the morning. Okay, 6 of the morning. So 6 часов утра. Now most people, we would understand that if you're eating breakfast, it's probably 6 in the morning, okay?
Hey, some people work night shift.
I know. Okay, so я завтракаю в 6 часов утра of the morning, okay? So, all you do is you put v and then your time units, okay? So, if we want to say, what time does this class end? Right? Во сколько? At what time? Кончается этот урок. At what time finishes this class? What time does this class end? So the answer is going to be this class ends. How do you say this class ends? It's up there on the board already for you. You just got to move things around.
What is the как санкция?
This, этот урок кончается. 1, 2, 3. Этот урок кончается. Этот урок кончается. And then, во сколько? What time? В.
No, yes.
10 what?
Сас.
Час.
Саса.
Час.
Часов.
Часов. No. It will today, but not usually. And then, yes, she's
Telling you.
She's told you 3 times there, дорогой. 10 what? Here. See how I point with my toe? Years of dancing. Kidding. Yeah. 10 minut. She's here for 2 minutes. She's already got it. You're here all day, and you're like in Lulu land.
In Spanish and we say that.
Oh, señor, no es un clase de español, chiquitito.
You
Okay.
should have took Spanish. Why didn't you just take Spanish? Your life would have been easier.
Because Spanish book costs more.
Oh, close it in
On
mine.
that note, I have to go.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, I'm out of here. Thank you for making copies of the
Bad.
notes.
All right, so. Спасибо.
До свидания.
До свидания.
You don't say half in Russian though?
You can, okay? But what does 10:10 is not half.
Is it 10:30?
This class?
No,
No. В 10 часов 10 минут. В 10:10, да, 10:10. А сегодня кончается сейчас. Today it ends now. Да?
Да.
Ой, дорогие друзья. Alright, дай вот домашнее задание. I'm gonna take this look at it, see how you did. I know you didn't do it. Nope.
Money next class. Do you
Please.
have money?
Do I have money?
Like Russian money?
Yeah, I got some old money. Maybe I'll bring it in.